Estolian princess in an alien place. In her head, strong desire to get her education, her giddy justification.
A literate populace is one of the great unsung explanations for Estolia's prosperity. Charlotte Zakarian, Ensayo 85.
Ria glanced at her cell phone. James was more than 20 minutes late. She rehearsed what she planned to say for half an hour before arriving at this out-of-the-way diner. And now he was standing her up. Perhaps, she thought hopefully, this was his way of dumping her. She could only hope he was trying to give her a message. Maybe that was for the best. She would not need to be the one who broke it off. While she waited, she looked through the photo album on her phone. Her father told her she would not like being away from Estolia. He was right. Nothing in this nation made sense to her. The family she was living with were very friendly, but they treated her strangely. She missed the palace and Leon and Nico, and especially her nephew, Tiernan. The strange thing for Ria was how people treated her. In Estolia she thought she was treated like any other citizen. She did not realize how cosseted she was as the daughter of the former king, the sister of the current king, and aunt of the future king. There were many aspects of her life she simply never thought about, until now. She always had someone to clean for her, cook for her, launder her clothing, and prepare her horse and rub it down after she went riding. Her clothing was custom-made by the palace clothier. Coming to live in San Francisco to attend a small private university had turned out to be an eye-opening experience, and not a pleasant one. She was unhappy, not only because it was hard to do for herself what others did for her in Estolia, but because she felt guilty. She wanted to return because she did not want to do those menial tasks. She was homesick for the ease of life in Estolia. A motion out of the corner of her eye caught her attention. A swath of what appeared to be dozens of pieces of American currency were laid on the table in front of her. She looked up at a short man with a scarred face who had put the money on her table in the dimly lit restaurant.
What is this?
The man did not respond to her nervous laughter or quizzical tone. He merely looked across the room until her gaze followed his. A second man sat in a booth watching her. He was dressed in a sophisticated suit and looked out of place in the diner. The scarred man said,
"My boss would like you to have a meal with him."
His voice was husky and had a pleasing accent compared to the drawl of Americans. For just a second she was distracted, trying to decide where this man was from. Corsica, she decided, or Menorca.
I do not know your boss. I am here to meet someone else. Why did you put your money on my table?
He wishes you to understand the value he places upon your time. This is yours for gifting him with your company.
He gestured to the money. She pushed the stack of currency away.
No, but thank your boss for the invitation. I am waiting for a friend and would appreciate it if you would take this money and leave.
Many of the Americans she had observed in her time in the United States were rude, overbearing and even crude. She did not admire or desire those traits. Mistaken or not, she would not be rude to this man running an errand for his employer. He smiled slightly before leaving, the stack of bills still on the table in front of her. She was just pushing it aside when she heard the chime of an incoming text message. She read it and frowned at what it said.
Ria, we both know we're not made for each other. Take care. James.
Typical. Too frightened to face her for the grand breakup. She stood up and pulled on her jacket. She extracted enough money from her purse to pay for her coffee. If the man who sent her the stack of money did not want it, then the waiter could have it. She did not care. She was not going to touch it. After leaving the restaurant, she began walking up the road. While she walked, her thoughts drifted to the future. If she was honest, she did not like being a college student. She was glad that Nico was in town. She could discuss her discontentment with him. She felt a pang of longing for her homeland. She needed to return to Estolia, even if it meant she never found the man who was right for her. She was tired of being separated from everything and everyone she knew and loved.
mistaken identity, unwilling captivation, itinerary.